Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today is an absolutely beautiful day to dive deep into the latest juicy secrets brewing behind the gates of our favorite community. Grab your favorite drink, settle into a comfortable spot, and let us unpack the explosive twists that are about to rock these residents to their core. We have so much ground to cover, so let us jump straight into the drama. We have to start by talking about Bill and the terrifying reality check he is currently facing. Bill is fresh out of the hospital, stubbornly refusing rehab, and unknowingly sipping on heavily poisoned celebratory drinks courtesy of his devious wife, Haley. But it seems that his recent harrowing brush with death is doing a lot more than just making him a stubborn patient. Surviving multiple heart attacks and having a pacemaker surgically implanted will change a man. If you ask me, Bill is finally looking his own mortality straight in the eye. He is realizing that he is not invincible, and this could mean he is desperately scrambling to secure his legacy before his time completely runs out. No one saw this coming, but Bill is making a massive pivot in his professional life, and he is dragging Naomi right into the center of his master plan. We already know that Naomi has been incredibly helpful at the law office lately. She stepped up to the plate, holding down the fort and managing the chaos while Bill was laid up in that hospital bed. She even fiercely protected his interests when a certain arrogant lawyer tried to undermine her authority. Now, Bill is presenting Naomi with a major proposition, and all the clues point to something permanent. What if Bill is officially asking Naomi to merge their two law firms, or at least come on board as a long-term senior partner to eventually take over his empire? Bill has always wanted Naomi working by his side. He has made no secret of his immense respect for her legal mind. But historically, Naomi has constantly dodged that bullet. She has always preferred to maintain her professional distance, keeping her own practice separate to avoid being swallowed up by Bill's massive shadow. But the landscape has drastically changed. Bill is physically weak, his firm is vulnerable to internal power struggles, and he desperately needs someone he can trust implicitly to protect his life's work. There is a strong chance that Bill is using his fragile health as the ultimate guilt trip to finally rope Naomi into his inner circle. The real question is, will Naomi actually change her mind and say yes? If you ask me, there are a lot of hidden variables pushing her toward accepting this massive offer. Naomi is already deeply suspicious of Haley. She and the rest of the family have been running a secret investigation, fully believing that Haley is cheating and up to no good. What if Naomi agrees to this firm merger, not just for the incredible career boost, but to act as a protective shield around Bill? If she is officially merged into his practice, she gains unprecedented access to his finances, his legal documents, and his estate planning. This could mean Naomi is strategically positioning herself to block Haley from making any shady legal moves if Bill's health takes another sudden fatal dive. Just imagine the absolute meltdown Haley is going to have if Naomi becomes a permanent, legally binding fixture in Bill's professional life. We already know Haley was daydreaming about Bill dropping dead so she could quickly cash in that $10 million life insurance policy. Naomi accepting this proposition would throw a massive, frustrating wrench into Haley's sinister timeline. There is a strong chance Haley will drastically accelerate her poisoning plot if she feels Naomi is getting too much control over the money. No one saw this coming, but this simple law firm proposition might just be the spark that ignites the most dangerous showdown we have ever witnessed. While the older generation is ruthlessly fighting over law firms and financial legacies, the younger crowd is facing their own heartbreaking hurdles. Let us pivot and talk about Eva and Isaiah. Guys, these two have been through absolute hell and back together. From surviving the catastrophic destruction of the tornado to Eva's terrifying internal bleeding and subsequent liver transplant, they have weathered storms that would easily break most couples. We watched them carefully navigate Eva's severe body dysmorphia regarding her jagged surgical scar, and we saw Isaiah bravely bare his soul about his dark criminal past. They always seem to come out stronger, but suddenly it seems that they are hitting a brand new rough patch, and the timing honestly could not be worse. Isaiah is clearly feeling the immense strain of this relationship turbulence. When the going gets tough, he instinctively turns to the one person who has always had his back. We are seeing Isaiah actively seek out his brother Jacob for some desperate relationship advice. Jacob has been through the absolute ringer with his own marriage recently, especially with Naomi's terrifying health scares. So he definitely knows a thing or two about holding on to love when the universe is actively trying to rip it apart. What if Isaiah is terrified that his past mistakes are finally catching up to him, or that Eva is pulling away because the relentless trauma of the last few months is finally taking its toll on her mental health? There is a strong chance Jacob will fiercely encourage Isaiah to fight for Eva, reminding him that true love is worth the struggle. But if you ask me, Jacob might also have a secondary, much deeper motive during this emotional brotherly chat. Jacob is incredibly perceptive, and he knows that Isaiah has a massive unresolved void in his life. This could mean Jacob is going to use this vulnerable moment to steer Isaiah toward a much bigger, much more complicated reconciliation. We know their father, Elon, has been awkwardly trying to mend fences and rebuild his shattered family. Jacob and Elon have their own highly complicated dynamic, especially regarding Jacob's rogue undercover police operations. But at the end of the day, family is family. What if Jacob firmly convinces Isaiah that fixing his fractured relationship with their father is the ultimate key to becoming the stable, grounded man that Ava so desperately needs? Think about it, guys. Isaiah has always looked up to Joey as a surrogate father figure because Joey saved him from a dangerous life of jacking cars on the streets. But Joey is currently drowning in his own toxic criminal family drama with his highly dangerous sister. Isaiah needs a real, legitimate father figure right now. There is a strong chance that Jacob recognizes this critical emotional need and realizes that Elon is the only one who can truly fill it. No one saw this coming, but this painful rough patch with Eva might actually be the exact push Isaiah needs to fully reintegrate into his biological family fold. Speaking of men who are desperately in need of guidance and a harsh reality check, we absolutely have to talk about the biggest professional mess in town right now. Tomas is rapidly spiraling, and it is honestly hard to watch him self-destruct. His entire world is violently shaking on its axis, and he is losing control on all fronts. Professionally, he just got his head handed to him by Bill for daring to undermine Naomi over a malpractice settlement offer from Mike. Bill fiercely reprimanded him, aggressively threatening his prestigious partnership if he ever stepped out of line again. And personally, it is a total unmitigated disaster. Kat completely rejected his very public, very flashy marriage proposal, and then she went ahead and impulsively bought a luxury condo without even consulting him. Tomas's fragile ego is deeply bruised, his confidence is completely shattered, and he has absolutely zero friends in this town to lean on. So who does this arrogant lawyer run to when his carefully curated life is falling apart? Eva It seems that Tomas is desperately clinging to Eva as his only sounding board, which is an incredibly precarious and exhausting position for her to be in. Eva has actively tried to draw firm boundaries with him in the past, but she is naturally empathetic. She knows exactly what it feels like to be isolated, insecure, and judged by everyone around her. Because Tomas literally has no one else, Ava feels obligated to listen to his frantic venting. This could mean Eva is going to let him blow off steam, but she is certainly not going to coddle his massive ego. We know Eva is not afraid to deliver tough, uncomfortable love. Just look at how bluntly she handles her own mother's incredibly messy love life. What if Eva uses this unexpected opportunity to give Tomas the harshest, most necessary reality check of his entire life? If you ask me, Eva is going to do everything in her considerable power to talk Tomas off the proverbial ledge regarding his crumbling career. Tomas is incredibly hot-headed and arrogant, and there is a strong chance he wants to march right back into Bill's house and aggressively demand respect or try to forcefully push his own legal strategies through despite the warnings. Eva knows that pulling a stunt like that would be absolute professional suicide. Bill is already on a dangerous hair trigger, dealing with his failing heart, his demanding recovery, and his chaotic, manipulative wife. Eva will likely beg Tomas to drop his pushy, aggressive agenda, swallow his immense pride, and just do his job quietly before Bill fires him permanently and ruins his reputation. No one saw this coming, but young Eva might literally be the only person standing between Tomas and total irreversible career self-destruction. She is trying to save him from his own worst instincts, but it is a massive burden for her to carry while her own relationship with Isaiah is on the rocks. But will Tomas actually listen to a word she says? That is the million-dollar question keeping us all on the edge of our seats. We are talking about a guy who stubbornly refused to be a kept man when Kat bought her gorgeous condo. His blinding pride is his absolute biggest weakness. What if Tomas takes Eva's logical advice the completely wrong way? He might feel like even Eva is underestimating his brilliance, pushing him to do something incredibly reckless just to aggressively prove that he is a top-tier, irreplaceable lawyer. This could mean Tomas might try to bypass Bill entirely and make a secret, unauthorized deal with opposing counsel, which would absolutely blow up in his face in spectacular fashion. Let us tie all these explosive threads together, guys. If Naomi actually accepts Bill's massive proposition to merge the firms or become his long-term senior partner, Tomas is going to be absolutely furious. He already went aggressively toe-to-toe with Naomi over who is truly in charge while Bill is sick. If Naomi is officially elevated to an equal or superior status, Tomas's fragile, bruised ego will shatter completely into a million pieces. There is a strong chance he will view Naomi as the ultimate enemy who unfairly stole his rightful place at Bill's right hand. And with Eva desperately trying to keep him calm, Tomas is going to feel like a trapped, caged animal with nowhere left to run. The stakes are escalating so incredibly fast, it is making my head spin. On one side, we have Bill desperately trying to cement his lasting legacy with Naomi, completely and utterly oblivious to the terrifying fact that his own wife is pouring lethal poison into his celebratory drinks. Naomi is bravely stepping into a volatile minefield, thinking she is just dealing with standard law firm politics, when in reality, she is unknowingly inserting herself into a deadly, calculated murder plot. What if Haley decides that Naomi is too much of a financial threat and tries to permanently take her out of the equation too? And on the other side, we have the younger generation rapidly crumbling under the heavy weight of all this intense adult drama. Isaiah is desperately trying to hold on to Eva while simultaneously dealing with his own heavy family baggage, turning to Jacob and potentially Elon for a critical lifeline. Meanwhile, Eva is completely exhausted from managing her own severe trauma, her mother's endless drama, and now Tomas's incredibly fragile ego. It seems that everyone in this town is reaching their absolute breaking point simultaneously. If Tomas blows up his career, it will inevitably bleed into his already strained relationship with Kat, which will only cause more devastating chaos for everyone around them. If you ask me, we are looking at a massive, unavoidable collision course. Naomi taking over Bill's legacy could ultimately save the firm, but it might put a massive, deadly target directly on her back. Isaiah reconnecting with Elon could beautifully heal old, festering wounds, but it might alienate him from Joey just when Joey is becoming more dangerous and unpredictable than ever. And Tomas heavily leaning on Eva. That is a ticking powder keg just waiting for a match. Will Eva be able to save Tomas from himself, or will his reckless arrogance drag her down into his professional misery? These pieces are moving incredibly fast, and the picture they are forming is absolutely terrifying. We have to keep our eyes glued to every single interaction because one wrong move is going to bring this entire gated community crashing down